Terence Bud Crawford insists on getting the Canelo fight. And it's kind of getting to a point where I feel that Crawford is low-key begging for a Canelo fight. But hey, that's what he wants. We here to talk about it. Subscribe to the channel for the best in the business. I made this graphic. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. It says Terence Crawford wants a Canelo fight at 168 after his win. Canelo, as you guys know, fought Edgar Berlanga. It was really a showcase fight for Canelo. He got to show off his arsenal, and it really wasn't competitive. So we'll start off with ESPN. Terence Crawford ringside to scout whom he hopes is his next opponent. Crawford tells ESPN he wants Canelo at 168 with no rehydration clause, and likened the opportunity to a 1983 Hagler-Duran fight, except the smaller guy wins this fight. Bud debuted at 154 last month. Bomac mirrored this sentiment, and he said, can we get him? Can we get him next? Or can we get next? Right? This is just one of a few things that Team Crawford has put out. Look at this knockdown. Yep. Oh, that was nasty. That left hook was nasty. But listen, Terence Crawford, he's making it known. Am I mad at Terence Crawford for calling out and calling for the fight? No, but I think it's getting to the point of begging. So Bomac put out his thing on social media that I just went over. Crawford went live with Turkey Al-Sheikh, and he was calling for the Canelo fight. Then he's doing an interview with ESPN saying, hey, I want to fight Canelo. He pulled up to Canelo's fight ringside and then left and went to the UFC. And then he's doing this video that he published, and the video says, yo, Crawford Canelo is the biggest fight in boxing, and that's the fight we want. And he's with Turkey, who's calling out Canelo, and it just sounds real needy. I'm just being real with you guys. It sounds extremely needy. Like, again, I ain't mad. We'll see if it works for him. But we'll just say this. Post-fight, after the Berlanga fight, they asked Canelo when he was on the stand with the mic, and they said, hey, Crawford keeps calling you out. He just called you out after your fight. What are your thoughts? Canelo said, no comment. No really. He said, no comment. I don't have nothing to say about that, which was the perfect answer. It's his moment. He just beat Berlanga. He just made millions of dollars. He had a sold-out venue, 20,000 plus. He's not worried about Terence Crawford. Canelo doesn't seem to have an amazing relationship with Turkey Al-Sheikh anyway. So we'll see if this pays off for Crawford. But as far as Crawford saying it's the biggest fight in boxing, that's cap. As far as I'm concerned, it's cap. Crawford went to the Canelo fight, then went down the street to the Sphere to go catch the main event or whatever at UFC. They show him on the screen, and they said it was Kendrick Lamar. This is Terence Crawford at the UFC event, and if you look right there, it says Kendrick Lamar, Grammy Award and Pulitzer Prize winning musician. So you're saying it's the biggest fight in boxing, and then you go to a UFC with your boy Turkey. It's Turkey's card, Riyadh season. They put you up on the Summer Jam screen, and they think you're Kendrick Lamar. They don't even know who you are. So realistically, it sounds really beggy. It sounds really needy. You're pitching this as the biggest fight in boxing, but that's cap, because Canelo versus Benavidez is a fight people have wanted to see longer. Benavidez is Spanish speaking. He speaks English. He speaks Spanish. Canelo speaks English, speaks Spanish. That's a bigger fight. So how could you say, just, you guys get mad, the Bud Buddies, they get mad at Boxing Ego. They be like, oh, Ego, you hating, but then you can't prove what I'm saying wrong. How can you say you have the biggest fight in boxing if I just named a fight that's bigger involving the same dance partner that you want? You want to fight Canelo? Benavidez wants to fight Canelo. And if both fights could magically happen, the bigger live gate, The bigger fight, the bigger buildup would clearly be the fight that we've been asking for, which is Benavidez getting his opportunity versus Canelo Alvarez. Now, does Canelo want those problems? Does he want that smoke with Benavidez? That remains to be seen. But, money talks. But you can't say you have the biggest fight with Canelo and it's the biggest fight in boxing. I just named a fight that's bigger. Again, if it was so big, they don't even know who you are at the UFC. They think you're K-Dot. Sit down and be humble. It's don't kill my vibe. It's don't kill my vibe. Like, they think you not like us. And they put Kendrick Lamar on the screen. So they don't really, you know what I'm saying? And that's an error on the UFC graphics truck. But they don't even look alike. So that just shows they're not familiar with your work. And that's down the street at a Riyadh season event. So good luck getting Canelo. I told you, I really don't need to see Bud Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez. I think Bud is trying to take the shortcut. He's trying to take the Mario Brother 3 warp whistle, where he wants to just advance to the end of the game, get this jackpot into the rainbow pot of gold, which is Canelo, which is what everybody wants. Caleb Plant. He just had an amazing win. Caleb Plant fought like a dog on a major card. He fought on the Canelo card. There was 20,000 plus people, including a ton of Mexican fans. And you have no choice but to respect Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant already had respect before the Trevor McCumbee fight from fighting Canelo and from fighting David Benavidez. But you don't think that Mexican crowd was in awe seeing a great scrap? Trevor McCumbee came, he was hurting Caleb Plant early, and then Caleb switched something in his brain, made the necessary adjustments, and started styling on Trevor McCumbee and knocked the MAGA out of him. So I think Caleb Plant continues to garner respect. He said he wants to rematch Canelo. So what makes Terence Crawford, who just fought Israel Madrimov and went do or die in that fight at 154, what gives you the right to skip past the Benavidez's of the world, skip past Caleb Plant, who wants a rematch, skip past Bivol? Some people want to see the Bivol rematch if Bivol beats Beterbiev, right? Canelo said he wants that. So what gives Terence Crawford, because he's telling you it's the biggest fight in boxing, what gives you the right when you're not of this weight class? That's why I said it's a shortcut. And I don't believe in shortcuts. I think it's cheesy. And I think you should go the scenic route. If Crawford really wants the Canelo fight Benavidez. And then the winner gets Canelo. I think that's the fairest, best thing that can be done here. If two people want and they're vying for the same prize, y'all fight for it. David Benavidez versus Terence Crawford. But when I say it and when Floyd Mayweather said it, you guys said we're hating. You know why you say we're hating? Because you think that would be a bridge too far for Terence Crawford to fight someone like a David Benavidez. David Benavidez said he wants to fight. He wants to fight against Terence Crawford and Canelo, right? Because his brother lost to Terence Crawford, right? But you guys don't want to see Bud fight David Benavidez because you don't give it that much hope. It's funny because if you say Benavidez for Crawford, and there's a great backstory there because he fought his brother, people will say, oh, you're hating. You just want to see Bud lose. Who said that? So let me get this straight. Crawford can fight Canelo at 168, but then he can't fight Benavidez at 168. What's the difference? So you can move up to the weight class, and that's basically you're trying to cherry pick. You think that Canelo has shown some vulnerability or because he's short, that you can get off on him. And just for you to do this science fair project, because you think you can beat him, the world has to see it. And you get to skip over all these people. So for me, I don't want to see the Crawford fight. Again, I'm a boxing reporter and I have a boxing channel and I'm a boxing fan. I would watch it, but I watch, ESPN fights back in the day. So there's a lot of boxing that I watch. I'm just saying from a perspective of the the ecosystem of boxing and what's right and does it make sense. Crawford, he's trying to shortcut it, people. You don't want to put no real work in at 154. Go through the gauntlet at 154. You're no longer with Top Rank. You're a free agent. There's some good fights over there. Like Turkey says, we'll give you an offer for Virgil Ortiz. That's a good fight. Some people say Crawford beats Virgil Ortiz easy, but Ortiz ain't never been beat. He never been knocked out. So it's still a great fight. He has power. It's a new weight class where neither one of them have multiple fights. He just got the WBC interim belt, right? Crawford doesn't really, he knows his time is limited. So I think he's trying to like get what he believes an opportunity at a historic win. So he could be like, yeah, I'm signing off now. You fight Canelo and you beat him, then you be like, yeah, I got all this money and I beat a legendary fighter like Canelo. You got to honor me. If he loses to Canelo, then he got a boatload of money and he'd be like, oh, I dared to be great. So you see what I'm saying? So he's trying to skip over. He don't want to fight the top guys at 54 and 60 if he doesn't feel it's associated with a huge bag. Like Jaron Ennis. He's looking at guys. This is my opinion. I feel Crawford's looking at guys as like beneath him. Like I've already put in max work. I should be able to ride off into the sunset. I should just get this big sweepstakes type of fight. But you're not the only one in boxing that has been putting in work. David Benavidez has fought since he's a kid and had to spar when he's 15 versus Triple G. So you're not special. You've done some special things in boxing, like 2X Undisputed, things like that. But I don't think that Crawford is special in terms of you're the only guy in boxing that put in the work. So you should just get to skip past everybody else that's vying for the same fight with Canelo. Again, I've already told you several people that want to fight Canelo. Everybody, when you the cash cow and you a face of boxing, everybody wants to fight you. And that's Canelo and Gervonta Davis. So sometimes you have to get in line. And I don't think Crawford, he knows he doesn't have enough time, or maybe in his mind, his biological clock is ticking of how long he wants to continue fighting. So he's just looking for that big major, I want a big statement, and I'm not doubting Crawford. He's a competitor. So he probably does think he can beat Canelo, but on the whim of, hey, I think I can beat this guy. Let's waste boxing's money and time with this fight. And then if I can't do it, I'll probably retire. Or even if I can do it, I'll probably retire. I don't see that as being the next rightful move. But again, money talks. We'll see what is decided. And I'm not the one that would be putting up the purse. So we'll see what happens. But I think Crawford is coming across as almost desperate. You want a big fight so bad where you have your eyes fixated on one person. There's other good fights, you know what I mean? And I don't think Crawford's at a stage where he really wants to put that work in and go through any obstacle course or gauntlet to get and secure that spot. And I think the easy solve would be move up to 160, fight Erislandy Lara. Danny Garcia just tried it and he just got stopped. And now his career is like in the unknown. Move up to 68, fight Demetrius Andrade. Fight Carlos Adames, right? Fight David Benavidez. Fight anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't just look up Marlon, say cheese, and then you get the Canelo fight. I don't see how that, and I don't feel like his last performance with Madrimov set the world on fire. Like you pulled away so crazy. Like I'm not mad if you said Crawford beat Madrimov for the belt, because that's what the judges said too. And it was a close fight. And I think Crawford bit down more in the later rounds. See, I'm a fair and honest critic. So I'm not even mad at that. But given how that guy had 11 fights, given how people thought and perceived that fight was supposed to look, you struggled more than the perception, I would say. So I don't think that coming off of that, that's not the type of performance where, in my opinion, you land the attention of Canelo Alvarez, 2 divisions higher than you, and he just beat up another guy that was undefeated in Berlanga and in Munguia. Like, you just have no leverage. So I just feel like Crawford is going to keep trying this angle and try to put the pressure on Canelo. I don't know what his intent is, but it just seems weird that he's fixated on one name instead of like, yeah, I want to fight Canelo, but let me keep putting this work in, fighting other great names like Boots and Virgil Ortiz or whoever, right, to make statements. And then the Canelo fight maybe can be attracted. Maybe I can attract that. He seems like he wants to, hey, you already seen my body of work. I moved up multiple weight classes. I'm the 2X undisputed, and he's kind of on a high horse. I'm on a high horse. I'm Terence Bud Crawford. So I deserve the Canelo fight. But again, there's a lot of people that feel that they deserve the fight, period.